Hey, hi, hello, my name is dis.cat. This is Project Hardcover, where we're letting books be the escape. Hello, lovelies, and welcome to episode uno of I'm Gonna Wreck It. And if you guys want a better understanding as to how this whole I'm Gonna Wreck It series works, I will leave a link to my introduction video down in the doobly-doo. And today, for this first installment, the thing that I'm going to be basing my recommendations off are going to be some of my favorite bands of all time. This not only enables me to recommend books to all of you, but also to recommend some of my favorite bands to all of you, because, you know, I really like these bands and I want you to listen to them. And for the purpose of this specific video, for each band I'm going to tell you what my favorite album of theirs is and what my favorite song of theirs is. So with all of that being said, let's just get started! The first band that I am going to be basing recommendations off today is my all-time favorite band in the entire world, and that is Anberlin. So in Anberlin's case, my favorite album by them is definitely Cities, and my favorite song by them is definitely Unwinding Cable Car, which, if you guys have ever been curious, is what the tattoos on my arms are. They're the lyrics to Unwinding Cable Car. So whenever I listen to music by Anberlin, I am just given this feeling of great emotional self-discovery. Every song is just so packed full of deep-seated emotions, and each song teaches you a little something about yourself, and it's so wonderful and so meaningful, and I love this band so much. So I'm going to be recommending 2 books and a movie to you based on that feeling that Anberlin and their music gives me. So 2 books that I feel really encompass this sense of Anberlin's music of being both very deeply emotional and also have just this great sense of self-discovery about them are Shocker Shocker, I Am the Messenger by Marcus Zusak, and Another Day by David Levithan, which is the sequel/companion novel to his Everyday series trilogy. I don't really know what David is doing with this series. Yes, both of these books just have this incredible deep-seated emotion in every single word. They just rip at your little heartstrings the entire time you're reading them, and they're also just these amazing stories of discovering who you are and how who you are affects the people around you and how the people around you affect who you are. And it's really incredible watching these people go through these journeys of trying to figure out who they are and how so much around you, you know, kind of plays into who you are and how you see yourself. So if you're looking for books that have that kind of feel of being just very touching and emotional, and also books about people struggling to find out who they are and where they fit in the world, definitely pick up these 2 books, especially this one, because it's my fave. And as for the one movie that I also feel really encompasses this great emotion and yet also is a self-discovery story, it is Amélie. Yes, Amélie is a foreign film. It is in French, but you can find it with English subtitles, about this French girl who is just going through life trying to find out who exactly she is and how the people around her and the people in her life dictate that and how she changes their lives, and it's just a beautiful movie. So much emotion, and it's so whimsical and bright, and it just makes you feel really good. So if you have not seen this movie, definitely go check it out, because it's fantastic. The second band that I'm going to be wrecking things off of today is probably my second favorite band of all time, and if you guys are paying attention, you might have an idea as to who they are. Yes, this band is definitely 21 Pilots. My favorite album by 21 Pilots, oh, this is really hard, but my favorite album by 21 Pilots is probably Vessel. It's probably Vessel, but Blurry Face is really close behind. And as for my favorite song by them, guys, this is just way too hard. A couple of my favorite songs by them are Not Today, Car Radio, and Guns for Hands. Like, I seriously can't just pick one song because all of their songs are just so incredibly amazing. The feel I get when I listen to 21 Pilots music is very much that they are this type of mental health revolution that is happening in motion. Like, you're seeing it happen. You're seeing people address their mental health issues in a way that feels incredibly safe and incredibly stable and just gives people a safe place to talk about these things and know that, no, you're not alone going through these things, you're not crazy, and it's all perfectly normal, and you're allowed to be accepted, and it's just, it's so important and so incredible. Please, go listen to their music. It's so beautiful and amazing and wonderful. Just, 21 Pilots. And 2 books that I feel give you that same sense of it is okay that you are struggling with this really scary mental health issue, that you are not alone, that there are people around you who love you and are willing to help and support you, and that it is okay that you are not okay, are definitely The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness and Mosquitoland by David Arnold. Yes, both of these books just deal with characters who are going through mental health issues, and both of them at some point just feel that they are incredibly alone and that there's no one that they can talk to or relate to about these issues, and over the course of the story they realize that this is just not true, that them being not okay is perfectly okay, and that there are people in their lives who want to help them, who want to be there for them, and it's so incredible and it's so amazing, and it just gives you such amazing feels, and I think that's why I loved both of these books just so incredibly much. So if you're looking for that kind of feel, definitely pick up these 2 books. And as for the movie that I feel deals with teens or young people dealing with mental health issues and feeling like they can't really connect with anybody, but in actuality they can, it's a very underrated movie, and it's probably my favorite movie that Robert Downey Jr. has ever done. It is Charlie Bartlett. I watched this movie years ago, like when I was in high school, and it was just so incredibly amazing, and yet no one I know has seen it, which is just so terrible because it's such an amazing movie about this young boy trying to deal with just way too much because he feels like there's no one on his side, and that's just not true, and it's just so incredible and amazing, and again, some of the best work I think that Robert Downey Jr. has ever done, so please, yes, go check out this movie. It's fantastic. The third band that I'm going to be recommending to you guys today is going to be Paramore. Oh, I know, we're harkening back to like 2008. So my favorite album by Paramore is probably, most likely, Riot. It was a great album, and my favorite song by Paramore is Most Deaf When It Rains. So the feel that I get from listening to Paramore's music is very much this sense of, I am young and that is okay. Like, I know I'm young and that, like, the majority of stuff that is happening to me right now isn't gonna matter 5 years from now, but it matters right now. It's relevant to me right now, so therefore, it's important. And I think that that sense can be applied to, like, a lot of young adult fiction, but 2 that I feel it comes out, like, the most in is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson and Winger by Andrew Smith. Ooh, and somebody's messing up my white balance. I bet it's Winger. Yes, so in both of these books, we just follow the stories of these young people who, yes, are young and are dealing with young problems, but that doesn't make them irrelevant. What they're going through now in their lives is still relevant. It still is important, especially to them, and it has worth, and it's just so wonderful to see it approached this way. These are also 2 of my all-time favorite contemporary novels. They're both just very real and authentic and very relatable and funny, and I just love both of these books so much. So if you're looking for that feel of, you know what, yes, I'm young, and, you know, no, probably that math test that I failed last week isn't going to stack up in the grand scheme of things, but it's really important to me right now, definitely check out these two books because they will give you that same feel. And as for a movie that goes along with Paramore and their sense of I'm young and that's okay, is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's probably my second favorite movie of all time, and that is Moonrise Kingdom. Yes, this movie is just chock full of the sense of, yes, young people go through things and maybe know in like 20 years or something it's not going to be the be-all end-all of their existence, but in the moment it's so important to them, and it's important that you let them have these experiences and let them go through these things and let them know that what they're going through does matter and it does have worth. It's also just an incredibly whimsical and fun and just awesome movie. Love this movie. Love Wes Anderson. Really, just any movie by Wes Anderson, everyone needs to watch. But this one just really goes along with that feel very, very well. The fourth band that I'm going to be recommending to you is also a harkening back to like 2008 era, and it is Panic at the Disco. So Panic at the Disco has a very varied style. It seems like every album they put out is way different than the next, but my all-time favorite album by them is surprisingly their first album, which is A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. And my favorite song by them, it's been my favorite song by them since I first heard them, and it is The Only Difference Between Suicide and Martyrdom is the press coverage. So when I'm listening to this album in particular, the grand sense that I get listening to Panic at the Disco's music is just these fantastical stories, just this great sense of storytelling and how whimsical and fun it is. And two books that I definitely feel encompass this sense of just really crazy, awesome storytelling is definitely The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, and a book that I never get to talk about on this channel and no one knows about, Slice of Cherry by Dia Reeves. Yes, so both of these books just have this incredible sense of just fantastical storytelling. The prose is beautiful, the worlds that they build up are incredible, and the story is just so crazy, so whimsical, so fun, though I will admit, Slice of Cherry is a lot darker. This, I think, falls a little bit more into paranormal, where Ava Lavender falls more into magical realism, but both of them just have this incredibly fantastic story that is just out of this world and so unique and just so gripping and wonderful, and it just gives me such a crazed Brendan Urie storytelling experience. Just, yes, I really do feel that both of these books encompass how Panic at the Disco works very, very well. And as for a movie that ties in with Panic at the Disco's music really, really well, I would recommend the movie that I am constantly recommending alongside The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender, but I want to stray away from it. So the movie that I'm going to be recommending for this one, this sense of fantastical storytelling, I'm going to go with the very much underappreciated The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Yes, so this is a movie that I also just don't see anyone talking about, and it was such an incredible, fun, little fantastic movie with this just incredible story, and it's also, I think, the first movie that, oh, what is his name? What is his name? I can't remember his name. Andrew Garfield, that's his name. Andrew Garfield did. I'm pretty sure this is one of the very first movies Andrew Garfield ever did. It's definitely the first movie I ever saw him in, and I fell in love with him in it. And, oh, it's such a good story. It's so great. It has that sense of feel of just wacky, whimsical storytelling that, Ava Lavender and Slice of Cherry and Big Fish also have, and it's just, oh, it's a great movie. I wish more people would watch it. It's very, very good. I also think that it's the last movie that Heath Ledger ever worked on before he died, and it's an incredible movie. You guys should really, really go watch it. It's fantastic. The fifth band that I'm going to be recommending to you is a band that has existed in my life for a very long time, considering how I am a child who grew up in the 90s with 2 older sisters, and that band is Green Day. So Mos Def, my favorite album by Green Day, is American Idiot. It's like probably my all-time favorite album of all time. And if I had to pick just one song by Green Day to listen to for like ever, it would probably be Jesus of Suburbia, if only because it's where I get my online moniker, Disciple Catastrophe, dis.cat, from. It was the inspiration for it, and it has a very nice little warm spot in my heart place. Now, this isn't necessarily true with American Idiot or 21st Century Breakdown by Green Day, because those 2 albums are what we call rock operas. They kind of tell their own story in the albums, which is really cool and why you should listen to them. But for the rest of Green Day's music, I very much just get this feel of just crazy kind of fun. Like, you're gonna go out with your friends at like 3 o'clock in the morning and not necessarily be dangerously reckless, just a little reckless, just have just an incredible time with your best friends, and it's just gonna be really, really awesome. And 2 books that I really feel encompass this sense of going off with your friends and just having this really fun, crazy adventure are definitely The Night We Said Yes by Lauren Garibaldi and An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Yes, so both of these books just have this feel of friends going out and having a good time. Not necessarily reckless, though, sometimes just a little bit reckless, but just being young and free and having fun and doing fun things and not really caring about what, the consequences of tomorrow are gonna be, school, whatever. I'm gonna live and have fun for tonight, and I definitely feel that that is a big part of the feel of definitely The Night We Said Yes, and to an extent, An Abundance of Catherines. And then a movie that fits this theme very well. It's also one of my all-time favorite movies. It never fails to make me just hysterically laugh whenever I watch it. It is definitely Euro Trip. Now, fair warning, this movie is rated R. Pretty sure I probably should have been doing that over the course of all of this. I'll put like a rating system somewhere for these movies, and I'll also leave links to all of this stuff down in the doobly-doo so you can check it out. But this movie is definitely rated R, but it just does have that sense of, going on this wild, crazy adventure with your friends. So I definitely feel that Euro Trip and Green Day's music goes really, really well together. So that is it. Those are some of my favorite bands, and some of my favorite books based off those bands, and some of my favorite movies based off of those bands and those books. I really hope that you guys liked this first installment of I'm Gonna Wreck It. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope to do just so many of these, because it's just, it's so much fun. I love wrecking books, and I love recommending books based off of a whole bunch of random things. It's just a lot of fun. It really gets your brain working, and it's just, it's a lot of fun. I hope to do a whole bunch more of these. Let me know down in the comments, like, a whole bunch of stuff. Have you listened to any of these bands? Have you watched any of these movies? Have you read any of these books? How do you think I did matching all of these things up together? Also, please, leave me things down in the comments that you want me to recommend books based off of. Songs, bands, genres, TV shows, movies, anything you can think of. I will pick some and try and work ways to recommend books, songs, band, all kinds of stuff based on whatever you leave me down in the comments. As always, thanks you guys for watching. I will see you next time, and remember, books are the escape.